Hello Sumate, you're welcome to another tutorial. So in this video we'll be learning how to make uh the trending inbuilt corset. So the first thing you have to do is to make sure that you have your skirts already done, then your corset blouse is already done also. If you've not seen the video on how I made the corset, how I drafted and how I sewed the corset part, I'll drop the link in the description box for us to see. So after making your blouse and your skirt separately, I've already added zipper to the skirt if you check very well. The next thing you have to do is to fold your skirt the same way I'm folding it. Just fold it into two from the waist part, but make sure that you're not adding the back pattern to the front pattern when folding. Remove the back pattern, then fold the front pattern, and make sure that the two sides seam allowance, they are meeting for you to get an accurate basque work done. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm actually pinning the side allowances together, the both side allowance, for me to get a straight and equal line for the basque. So after that, you have to determine how many inches you want for your basque. How long do you want it from the waistline? Now I'll be using 5 inches from my own because I don't want it to be too long and I don't want it to be too short. If you check the video on how I made the corset and all that, you will see the picture on my thumbnail how it is looking. Yeah, it is 5 inches I used to achieve that. It depends on you. Some people might decide to make it you like a C curve. They don't use straight ruler. You can use your curve ruler. You know, these days there are different patterns of this inbuilt corset basque infet. Some people, they take their bags to the side. Do you get? So it depends on what you want, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we are making our bags at the center of our dress. So after taking your 5 inches, then you connect it to the waistline. You see how it is, you connect it straight to the waistline. So after connecting it like this, the next thing you will have to do is to cut it out. Don't forget, I used 5 inches for this. I use 5 inches for the basque. You can decide to use 4, you can decide to use more than 5, but I don't want it to be too long. That's why I used 5. So I'm just okay with 5, but you can do any one you want, depends on you. So after cutting it out, the pieces you cut out, you don't have to throw it away. You keep it because you use it to sew on the main blouse of the material. So after cutting it out, this is what it will look like. This is what it should look like if you're making this. This is exactly what it should look like. So after this, the next thing you have to do is to bring the front pattern. Please, if you've not seen the video on how I made this corset blouse, the link will be in the description box for us to see. So the first thing you have to do now is to check your waist measurement. Mark your waist, where your waist measurement is, mark it. So from my armhole, I'm marking my waist measurement. My armhole is 8.5, so I remove 8.5 to start marking from my armhole to get my waist measurement, which is 15 inches. So that's exactly what I'm doing in the video. And don't forget that as you're marking, make sure you extend the 15 inches to the center back also. Just rule the 15 inches, go to the center back and mark the same thing. Just rule the 15 inches. You're rolling it across. I didn't show it in this video, but I did that. Rule it across because you're going to be turning this part with your skirt from the center back of the corset to the front pattern where we have the basque we're working on. So the first thing to do now is to pin your material. The part you cut from the skirt part, bring it out. You know, I said you don't have to throw it away because this is what will serve as a guide for you to get the correct, the right placement for your basque. So place your material on the blouse pattern, like the pieces you cut from the skirt, place it the same way I'm placing it in this video, then just pin it down. So you just pin it down this way. So after pinning it down, now the first way I wanted to sew it was that I wanted to just pin it down on it, then I'll put the skirt on it and run it while this pieces is still there. But it was quite difficult. It was kind of difficult for me to work with it like that. So I decided to pin it down like this and use my chalk to mark the back area out. I just use my chalk to trace it out for it to be easy for me to work on. So that's definitely what I did. Please, if you find any of my video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you find any of the videos I've posted helpful, don't forget to subscribe, as I'll be dropping more videos. Now, like I said, I wanted to just place the skirt on it and sew it with the pieces pinned to it. You can see what I'm doing. I was trying to get how to get it done with the other pieces on it, but it was hard, and I probably felt like I might just make the mistake of sewing on that pieces which is not supposed to be so. So I went ahead to trace it out. You can see what I'm doing. So you just trace it. Make sure your material is lying at the center of your blouse, like it is lying well, so that it will be equal on both sides. Your basket will have the same effect on both sides. So after drawing the lines out, I've removed the pieces from it. This is just the simplest method to make this inbuilt corset that is trending. So I've removed the zip from it. Now you can see how I'm placing the skirt, that the whole of the skirt is resting on the upper part of the corset. I'm using the right side on the right side. You can see how it is. Now this is how to place your skirt on it if you don't want your stitches to be obvious. But if you want the easier way of doing it, you want your stitch to be obvious, you can just put the skirt on top of the blouse and run your stitches. That one is way easier. But to get a very neat job done, because I want a neat work, that's why I'm using this method. Like, I have to pin it this way to sew it. You can see exactly how it is. You place your skirt right side on right side. The whole of the other side of the skirt aside the waist is facing the upper parts of the blouse, like the bust part of the blouse. Now if you see the video clearly, you see that I'm basically just, after sewing the skirt part like this, I'm just going to flip it over to the other side, then our basque is done. So what I'm basically doing is to pin it, get my blouse and the skirt pattern, so it will be in place for it to be easier for me to sew. That's why I'm actually pinning it. So after pinning it this way, the next thing you have to do is to run a straight stitch. So I will run straight stitch on it. So after sewing it, I just finished pinning it. Like, I've pinned it down properly to the center. You can see the middle part of it. So after pinning it, I will go straight to my machine and run through it. Now in running through it, I have this plastic bunny in the front of the this thing, and even the back for the eyelet part. Now if you're running, you cannot sew through that bony, so you run to an extent. When you get to where there is bone, if you watch this video very well, that's exactly what I did, but I'm sorry it's not showing. You get to where there is bony, you raise your machine, then you pull it a bit before you sew. That's exactly what I'm doing. You sew, then once you get to where there is bony, you lift your machine. You can see what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. You lift your machine, push your material inside a bit until the needle is no more resting on the bony. Then you start sewing. But make sure you do tightening. Before you stop sewing on the other side, tighten it. Then before you start sewing on this other side, you tighten it so that it will not lose. So that's exactly how I did it. That's exactly how I did it. So after sewing this part, you can see I've already run my stitches through it. So after sewing this part, now the next thing to do is to sew the other part. Now let me just show you this side that I've done for you to see how nice it is. You can see how it came out. Like, it's so neat. It's actually very neat. It came out very well. So like what I say, if you don't want to go through this way, you just place your skirt like this, oh, and run your stitches on it. But the thing is, your thread will be showing. I don't think you want that, so that's why we are going through this process. So the next thing for me to do now is to pin the other side the same way we sewed this first part. The same thing we'll do. So you can see that I've already run stitches on both sides. I've sewn the other part, and this is what it looks like on the inside. I have to notch the middle. If you check the center, the midpoint of it, I have to notch it. So after notching it, flipping it over for us to see what it looks like, this is exactly what it looks like. By the time you finish ironing, you see how relaxed it will be. Like, if you check the previous thumbnail on my video, you'll see how nice it came out to be. So the same way we did for the front, the same way we are going. You can see that I marked through the waistline and the back pattern also. Now there's an excess material at the side of my own because I did back spacing at the back pattern of my skirt. So I've gone ahead to sew it. You can see what it actually look like. I've gone ahead to sew it from the back. So like the excesses I was talking about, I did back spacing at the back of the corset, so that's why I have to leave the excess for the back spacing I did. If you did not do any back spacing, just make sure that your material and the edge, the center back, they are equal. Everything is equal. So after sewing it, this is exactly what it looks like. This is the back pattern. You can see my closure. If you've not seen the video on how I made this closure, you can go and check the description box for the link to how to make the perfect closure for your corset. So this is exactly what everything looks like. It actually came out very nice. It came out very nice. Then after this is all you need to do. Please, if you've not subscribed to my channel, please, I will appreciate if you kindly subscribe, hit the like button and share, as I'll be dropping more videos, more tutorials on trending styles for us. Please don't forget to like,